Hey everybody, just doing a quick review. I read the first two volumes of Barefoot again, and I thought I would give you guys my thoughts on just these first two volumes. I think that reading these first two volumes gives you a good idea of what you're going to be getting yourself into. To be honest, you could even read the first volume and easily somewhat figure out what it's all about. It really, however, at the end of the first volume, which is why I'm happy, I ended up getting the first and second one a lot way before I got the third and fourth volume, because I already ordered the third and fourth volume, and they should be coming relatively soon. But the first volume, I found out, it ends right at the bombing scene, so it's a little bit, one little small spoiler. So because of that, you don't really get the full understanding of it until you read the second volume, but you get pretty much the general gist of it. So anyways, I made a quick little PowerPoint just to help keep me on track, make sure I get to the points that I want to get to, and then I can get more in depth in my thoughts and everything else. So this, I got the first two volumes. These are the first two volumes that I have, the exact same covers. It was translated into English by Art Spiegelman, and they had the author of this book, Kenji Nakazawa. He has a kind of like a goal that's called Project Gen, and is trying to get all of his volumes, all 10 of them, because there's 10 volumes in this series. He is trying to get them all translated to tons of different languages so everybody can read and be anti-nuclear weapons. You guys can pause if you want to read some of this. This is a little bit more about Project Gen. It's actually a very nice project that they're working on, that I definitely do support, because I feel it is a great representation of the Japanese point of view on what happened with the bombing of Hiroshima and their thoughts. So this series ran primarily in the Weekly Shonen Jump magazine from June 4th, 1973 to 1974. And the sad part is it was canceled. So this book was canceled after a year and a half. And then it was moved on to 3 less widely distributed magazines. They're just small magazines, not as big as the mainstream Weekly Shonen Jump manga. Now the Weekly Shonen Jump manga is kind of like the big boys, as you would say. It's almost like the, let's say, the Spider-Man series in the US. It's kind of like that. If you were to go look for or have an argument with somebody which distributor for American comic book, which one would you think? It would be an argument of DC versus Marvel. That's pretty much what they're what this is. And unfortunately, because it was canceled, and it got to less widely distributed magazines, the book's popularity had gone down a little bit too. My thoughts on this book, pretty much is as you can see, it's very sad and depressing. It's about World War II, the bombing, so it's very clearly that's what it's going to be. It's pretty graphical. It's not meant really for kids. It is a very heavy and intensified graphics in the novel. I'll show you guys what I'm talking about a little bit. So it's primarily the graphics from the effects of the bombing is really so the first volume you'll get a little bit of it, but not very much. So you could try reading the first volume. If you aren't too disgusted by it, you could continue on. But yeah, this is definitely not a kid's book. As you can see in this shot, that the lady, that's all her skin that is peeling off, almost like clothes. And then this person up here, his intestines are coming out. You see a person who has burns that she realized because she was wanting to be a dancer, that her face is all burned up, and she gets really upset. People going crazy. It's not a very pleasant sight at all. Obviously, maggots and flies. It's a very, very sad and disgusting effects from the bombs. I was very surprised by how even-sided this story was, and I can tell this is very much done with loving and passion by this author, and he very strictly believes in peace. Not very many books, especially in World War II, they'll claim that they're very peaceful. It is not very, they're one side or the other. This guy is pretty much straight down the middle. He blames the Japanese for causing the war because they started going into the war for their economic gain, thinking that they could get lots of really good goods, they could get more land possibly, etc., etc. That was the only reason why they started going into the war, was just for that. Then their pride gets to them, and when they're obviously losing, they send false information to all the people saying that they are winning when they really aren't, that they've blown up 10 boats or 10 ships when 10 of their airplanes have been shot down, and it's terrible, especially for the citizens in both areas, well, all areas of Japan, because it was just definitely a corrupt system, and a lot of the citizens, surprisingly, didn't know how corrupt it was, but there wasn't enough people to overthrow or even have the power of, so they were left with nothing but to just follow suit. And that's really what a lot of the manga shows, is that they really didn't have too much of a choice. Some people are fought back. And this is what the main characters do in this book, which is great. It's really a book on not giving up and sticking with your morals. But obviously, as I said, they're upset as well because the Americans dropped the bomb on innocent people. At least that's how they feel. You can have an argument on it. I know there's arguments that have been going on for a long time. Really, with this book, I was very much actually against the atomic bomb. Just from what I've heard, what I've seen from the pictures, and it just did not seem very good. But there was a lot of people that were not giving up, that were saying that they should keep fighting, and it actually says it in the book, and that was something I never really knew. So I actually feel about 50-50 about the bomb now, when I was like 75% against it. I would say it's definitely worth a read. A lot of, like I said, it's very much 50-50 in the book. I know that there might be a lot of people, a lot of Americans especially, who think this book is going to be full of crap because it is the Japanese talking about it, so it's going to be obviously pro-Japanese. It really isn't. It's very much, they just explain the facts, the struggle, and part of the facts is that Japan had some mistakes just as much as the Americans made some mistakes too. So it's definitely worth the read. If you're wondering, there is an anime. There are anime adaptations made, primarily in movies, and then there's a Blu-ray movie that's going to be released later this December that I pre-ordered. So I hope that this helps you with deciding on whether or not you really like to read this series. I would definitely say give it a shot. I got it because I heard that it was actually one of the most horrifying mangas you could get as far as historically, and I would say it definitely is. However, once again, I've only read 2 volumes. I've got volume 4 as well, but I'm getting volume 4 as well and volume 3. So once I read those 2 volumes, I'll be able to figure out exactly how it is, and maybe I'll do another review and do a review on those next 2 volumes if you guys would like to see it. Anyways, hope you guys like this review. Sorry that it went a little long. It's just a lot of great things I wanted to say about it. It is a very depressing book, so definitely if you got some problems with depression or anything of the sort, this may not be a great book for you to read because it is very down, and there really isn't that many great things that happen in the book. There's minor, small victories in the book, but it just almost immediately shot down, so it's very down, depressing. So anyways, this is my review. I hope you guys liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next video, maybe on a different series. It might be this series if I get the 3rd and 4th volume and I feel like making another review, and you guys want to see another review, I'll make another review on it. If not, I'll see you next time.